So you discovered the world of gentle parenting and you were like, wow, I really want to parent my child with understanding, with respect. I want to, in a way, break the cycle. I don't want to raise them the way I was raised. And then the more you try to apply gentle parenting, the more you were like, wow, how am I going to make this work with my strong-willed child? How do I successfully gentle parent a child who is not gentle? Hello, my name is Marcela Collier. I'm the CEO of HIC Parenting Education Agency, and we've helped 10,000 of our clients, all parents like you who want to break their cycle and their children are not gentle, to finally find the formula to go from frustration and overwhelmed to I'm successfully gentle parenting my high sensitive or strong-willed child from a place of understanding. And there is a formula for that. We call it the self process. So at the end of this video, you are going to walk away with the formula that has transformed over 10,000 of our clients from I don't know what else to do to I connect. I gain my child's cooperation and they're still strong-willed and I'm a strong-willed as well, and we get along and transitions are smoother and life is just easier. Lucy is one of these parents. When she came to HIC Parenting Education, her child was kicked out of several daycares. And after she applied the self process, which is part of the Parenting with Understanding methodology, which is what we coach here in HIC Parenting, she came back saying that her kid is now telling her when he's about to get angry what he needs to do to calm down, and he's able to stay in a daycare. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what the steps of the self process is, and then we're going to dive deep on each one of these steps. S stands for a secure parent. A secure parent meaning that you feel confident, that you feel that even though things may look hard, even though my child is always going to be a strong-willed child and not gentle child, I know what it takes to raise them from respect. E is educated parents. So instead of like, I've tried everything and don't know what it works for my child, I understand my child to the core and I understand myself and how to relate to my child. The L is loving parent. You're already a loving parent, but it is about how to remain loving in times of stress, especially when they're pulling their teeth to get dressed and go to school and it's already late. And F stands for fun parent. So it's not about being silly and goofy, and if you are, kudos to you. It's about finding enjoyment in your parenting. So if you love to be a parent, but you don't enjoy parenting for the most part, then this step is going to help you find that enjoyment. Again, now the self process is part of the big Parenting with Understanding methodology that as parenting coaches in HIC walk our clients step by step, holding their hand every step of the way so they can apply this process and find transformation from support, from accountability, and from a customized plan. If that's what you want, then there is an application for you to book a call with a member of my team where we can get to see if we are a good fit to help you with your parenting. So just go to apply.hicparenting.com or open the description and then you can apply now to HIC Parenting. Okay, so let's break down the formula to successfully gentle parent a non-gentle child. And I am there because my children are not gentle. And I raised children in therapeutic foster care for 9 years. All these children have different psychiatric diagnoses, high behavioral needs, meaning that their behaviors were aggressive, and that's why they were in therapeutic care. And this formula was what really helped me parent those strong-willed, highly sensitive children, and my twins as well, who are strong-willed, and one of them is highly sensitive. So the S stands for secure parent. So what is this? I remember back in the day, 13 years ago, when I discovered gentle parenting, what people call today gentle parenting. At the time, it was conscious, respectful parenting. I started reading books and I was getting excited. And I said, yes, this is exactly what my children in foster care need. I don't want them to feel that they're not able to talk to me, to trust me. That I was very big on, I want them to trust me because they came to my care and they didn't trust me. Of course, I was a stranger to them. So I wanted to build that trust. I wanted to build that bond, that connection. And at the same time, I wanted to have a smooth routine that they listen and then they follow boundaries and all those things. So I started reading books and I started getting great tips. And I went to Facebook and Google, and I would get excited. I remember getting excited reading those tips and advice. And like, yes, these are tools that are going to help my children. And then the tantrum came. And then I don't want to brush my teeth now. I'm not going to school came. And it was almost time to go to school. And then I needed to drop them off because I had a work to go to. And I remember the anxiety raising up. And all those tools that seemed great on paper did not work because I was full of overwhelmed frustration, and I felt like my body wanted to explode. I didn't know what to do, even though I had all these head knowledge tools. Fast forward to now, 2023, now being a certified parenting coach with training and experience, helping parents navigate these parenting scenarios. What I want to tell you is that it doesn't matter how many head knowledge, how many tools you have, that you've read online, that you've watched TikToks, that you've gotten from books. If you don't feel inner safety, if you don't feel calm, you're not able to apply them. You're not. It's like if I give you all the best tools to build a house and you don't have the strength to build them. So a secure parent is not about having tools. It's about feeling calm and secure within yourself, that even in those times and moments of stress, you have those tools. You can work those tools. And many times it takes coaching for you to gain that strength. One thing that I want to tell you now, that to move you towards that, is to unveil what the real trigger is. And 9 times out of 10 is not the tantrum, is not the behavior what you see, is the projection or the mirror that you feel inside of you when you witness your child having those tantrums. I have ADHD and I always struggle with transitions. And growing up, I had undiagnosed the ADHD, and my traditional Latino parents just thought that I was lazy, that I just didn't want to do things. And when in reality, I had an executive functioning disorder that impaired me to transition from an activity to the other without help. So now when I saw my children struggling to transition and digging their heels because they didn't want to brush their teeth, all those emotional memories of 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 me being labeled as lazy, as you you don't care, or you're so stubborn, all those memories was what created that anxiety in me and made me to react. So it is not your child, it is the emotional memory that is triggering when you observe your child doing the very same behavior you used to struggle with when you were growing up, and then you got punished, and then you got blamed, and then you got shamed. So it's like the first step towards becoming a secure parent is to detach the meaning of our trigger from our child, and then examine and revisit what is going on in ourselves, What is the memory? What really triggers in us when we witness our children? That way you're going to start seeing your children as the beautiful, amazing children that are struggling to transition. They're not doing that to you. They're just having a hard time themselves. So that's the S, the secure parent. This is a process. This is not an act. This is not about like, okay, now I have this knowledge. I'm just going to go with it tonight and find inner safety and security. This is a process that in many cases it requires coaching and therapy as well, or both. Number two, educated parent. So you want to raise your child from respect and break those generational cycles of punishment and yelling, and yet your child is not gentle. And then you start catastrophizing in your head, if they're this rude to me, then they're gonna get to school and they're going to be the rude students that no teacher wants to have, and they're going to be the school bullies, and then they won't have friends, and then they're not gonna find a job, and they're not going to be able to keep a job or a marriage, and then life is the worst. Their life is over. So that is called catastrophizing. And we go to that place of catastrophizing our child's current defiance or current tantrum because of, again, what I was talking about that before, the lack of inner safety. And then the lack of education of what is this tantrum really telling me. So when we are an educated parent, we are able to look beneath the behavior, and we're going to go over that. We're going to be able to look beneath the behavior and see our children for what they're really experiencing at the moment, instead of this big, terrible, tragic story that we're creating in our head. So we are able to understand, when we are educated in our child's brain development, that it is impossible for a 2-year-old to understand the concept of sharing. So of course, when they see their sibling having a toy in their hands and they want it, instead of going and saying, hey, can we play together, is that they're not capable of that developmentally yet. So they're going to go and try to snatch it. And if the brother has a little resistance to it, they're going to push the brother down. Not because your child is going to become this rude person that nobody wants, but because your child is, when they're not ready to learn the concept of sharing. So when we are trying to gentle parent a child who seems not gentle, who is the opposite of gentle, who punches you, hits you, or punches their brother or sister, throws things, yells at you, before we go into that catastrophizing story of, I need to nip this in the bud, otherwise my child is going to be the rude adult that nobody wants, to look beneath the behaviors and see, what is my child telling me at this developmental stage? Is he really capable of sharing at 2 years old? No, he's not. So those are the expectations that we need to keep in mind according to their developmental stage. Number two, what are they really feeling? They are hitting me. They are in a place of emotional dysregulation. What are they feeling, really feeling at the moment? What are they needing? Are they needing a direction? Or are they needing, if they are in this place of dysregulation and I don't know how to control myself, that, by the way, children under 12 are not able to control themselves. So they need us to help them calm down. They need us. When we educate ourselves and in how our children process information and function, we are more patient all of a sudden, and we see that those non-gentle children, those quote-unquote rude children, as just struggling children. Okay, so let's move on to the next step of the self process, which is part of the parenting with understanding methodology that, as HIC parenting coaches, walk our clients step by step in our coaching sessions in the parenting with understanding program. So the next one is loving parent. You are a loving parent. I don't have to remind you to love your child because we love our children more than our lives. We could do anything. There is nothing that I would not do for my children. And I believe that it is the same for you. So it is not about reminding you to love your child. It's about in those times of stress when our children are digging their heels to brush their teeth and you're tired and you're ready to start your bedtime routine, how do you remain loving? How do your responses to your child in that moment of stress remains loving? Because it is not about fixing our children. It is not about turning a strong-willed child into a easygoing, quote-unquote, gentle child. It is about meeting our children where they're at effectively, remaining loving, respectful, yet effective. So how do you do this? So we already walked through a few steps of the self process. Number one is inner safety, which is the secure parent. If whatever you think you do, it could be gentle parenting things. Okay, let's take a few deep breaths. And if you're in with that anger energy, they're going to feed off on your energy and not the prompt to take deep breaths. So that's the first step. That's why it's the first step of the self process. The second step is, okay, what are you feeling? What are you needing? And how I can support you? Let's just say that your child is digging his heels and not wanting to brush teeth. What is he really feeling at the moment? Does he feel that he has a choice? You may say, but brushing teeth, I mean, hygiene is not a choice. It is not. How can you open a range of freedom within that boundary that is not non-negotiable? How can you provide a certain range of freedom so instead of control, they feel that they have a choice? My strong-willed children, they have multiple toothbrushes. And they're excited to choose the color toothbrush, not because it matters to me or because it matters to their hygiene, but because it gives them that range of freedom within that non-negotiable. So that's one way that you can meet your child's needs and that you can respond to your child's feelings while not giving in, while remaining loving and respectful to your children. Let's go through the self process again. You are secure, you are calm, you are educated, you know what your child needs and feels. You are loving in times of stress. Then what is the next thing? The F is fun parent. So you don't have to be silly. You don't have to be a naturally playful person. I'm not a naturally playful person either. But this is what happens. This is what happens. Let's just say that it is time for your child to turn off their iPad. And then if you come and say, okay, and then you clap, okay, it's time to turn off the iPad. We need to go and brush our teeth. What is it more likely for your child to respond to that? I mean, if I have to choose between fun and not fun, fun and boring, fun and stressful, because every time I brush my teeth, my mom is stressed out or dad is stressed out and I receive that stress. If I have to choose between those two, I'm going to choose my iPad. So I wonder why our children fight us so much when it comes to screen time boundaries. Because screen time and iPads and phones and TVs are quite frankly more fun than us, are quite more frankly less stressful many times. The iPad is not giving our children an attitude, and we are giving our children an attitude. What are they going to choose? So when it comes to fun parent, it's not about being silly or being goofy. And if you are, use it. That's a great tool. It's about coming to our children with a light spirit, with a joyful attitude, and with creative options. How I said, my children, my strong-willed children who are not gentle at all, they have multiple toothbrushes. They have, what else do they have? They have different apps that you kind of like set the timer for toothbrushing, and then the Leo character dances for 2 minutes. They like that too. So if iPad is a struggle before a transition, let's just say toothbrushing, you can even use the same iPad with a toothbrushing app, to transition your child from that to there. So let's just say that the limit or the boundary is the iPad. No more iPad. So how can you be more playful than the iPad? Okay, what about if we go ride the scooter around the block? Let's go. Let's just say that the transition is really that you want your child to get ready for bath time. How can you make bath time like wow, I want to go there? You can take your Legos to the bathtub. Let's build a fort on the bath, something that you feel comfortable with. Or maybe if it's a really boring thing, like I mean, it's boring to brush our teeth. So what can you do something in terms of transitions? What is a transition that you could do before the transition? For my children yesterday, it was that kind of transition. They were on the iPad, and I said, "Okay, boys, let's go ride the scooter around the block." They're like, "Oh yes, we have an electric scooter," and then I rode one, and then the other one around the block. We came back, and then it was time to brush our teeth and then to start our bedtime routine. And that's how I transitioned them from this very fun thing, iPad, for another even more fun thing, which is riding our scooter. So the self process, it takes more than reading about it. It takes more than hearing about it. It looks like a simple process on the outside, but it's really the combination of the coaching work that HIC parenting coaches do in our 14-week Parenting with Understanding coaching program with our clients, so they are able to find security, inner safety in times of stress, and show up calmly to their children, so they're able to have education on brain development, on child development, on nervous system science, so they're able to meet their children what they exactly need. So they remain loving, and having loving conversations and loving responses in transitions, in tantrums, in times of stress. And so they find enjoyment in their parenting. So parenting doesn't feel like this painful thing that I dread every single morning when my children wake up. Here we go again. But it's like, wow, let's see what this day brings for us. Even if it's challenging, I can enjoy this. If you are called, if you feel that you need that extra guidance and support, apply that hicparenting.com, or you can go to the link in my bio at Instagram, at TikTok, at highimpactclub, and apply there to have a free call with a member of my team to see how we can support you moving forward. If you are watching us on YouTube, what has helped you remain calm in times of stress when your child is not gentle? Type it in the comments. If you are listening to our podcast, it helps a lot if you write a review how this podcast helped you. Okay, I'll see you next week. And remember, it takes understanding to transform your parenting.